I tell you, the pandemic, man. Early on, man, I started to see some trends in what they've done with this type of pandemic thing before, and from a stock perspective, it was like shopping. I mean, Microsoft, Apple, you get everything's at discount. I mean, you just buying up all of these. Now they're recovered. Now they're going through the roof. I mean, so that's what I'm looking for. So now I'm planning for getting as liquid as possible. We just did one last deal that we're locking in now, but I'm just trying to get as liquid as possible.
For what though? Like why?
Because cash runs it. So when the banks stop easing off on lending, if I have cash and capital, I can leverage the cash that I have even and say, partner with a bank and say, you know what, look, I got $250,000. Give me the other da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? But
so you feel like, because there's the whole like the grant card cash or try cash, right? And I'm like, but you gotta have some cash. So like, but then at a certain point, having all that cash and not having it invested costs money too.
Yeah, so you got to have a play. You got to have your growth strategy, right? Like, what are you actually trying to do in the next 3, 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
Right? And what does that look like? What type of money do you need to have access there?
Spend strategically and invest. Mm-hmm. Then we could build enough cash flow, or whatever, to go buy the $1.3 million and not have to be worried about the mortgage payment. Exactly. I'm trying to make it so that my real estate commissions don't have to pay for life.
Don't have your money all of your money sitting just in the banks. Yeah. Like you can get that if the $250,000 is the number. You don't have to have that sitting in the bank.
So you still put it in the market.
You put it in the market. It means like when they say in the drug game, you put it in the street. You put the work in the street and let it work. And then we need to pull the money back. All right, cool. Let me go get this from here, that from there, that from there. You got your $250K.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Dan the Realtor. Today we don't got Marcus in the building. We got Nick Bush in the building. Yeah. So we're gonna run the episode. We're gonna talk about the latest 2024 housing market forecast. Nick Bush is going to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. We got the DMV real estate report, the real estate hot or not. Then we're going to jump into the comment section. Welcome to the Real Estate Wire, folks. What's going on, everybody? I'm Dan the Realtor.
Nick Bush the Realtor.
Oh boy.
Nick Bush just almost knocked over the water.
Nick Bush the Realtor here, guys.
And today we got a special guest. We got my man Ed Henderson.
Yes, that's the last name. You got it. You got it right.
From Blake Dixon. What's going on, Ed?
Everything, brother.
So tell us a little bit, man. We've been chopping it up. You're a commercial real estate agent.
Yeah, commercial real estate agent, 100% commercial. Been in the nation for about 11 years now. In D.C., Maryland, and as of today, just passed the Virginia broker's exam this morning. Right. So yeah.
So you a broker too?
Yeah, I'm broker. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm about to come over to Blake Dixon, bro.
Come on. We need to come on. Yeah. We'll take you on in. Come on in.
So what do you think is the difference between residential and commercial real estate?
I say it's just the approach, right, to the deal, right? I think that the transaction is different in that, you have houses where people have personal attachments to the house. They love the house. This is the house their grandmother grew up in. And that's kind of one engagement. I'm more of the transactional engagement, right? This is what the cost analysis is. This is what the cap rate is. What's the deal? Let's get the deal done. So I think that's one major difference. But other than that, at the end of the day, it's all assets. It's all real estate, but just a different way you go about doing a transaction.
Yeah. I have a commercial / residential investment property.
There you go.
But that's it, bro.
Hey,
but it's not commercial, right? Because only 4 units. It has to be 5.
Yeah, it's like commercial. But I mean, I'm renting it out, so it's like I thought they considered that like commercial / residential. No,
4
it's just
more.
Straight
residential. It's 4 more
it's
units.
Just 4, so it's still residential.
It's still residential.
5 makes it commercial, right?
Yeah, I think 1 over makes commercial. Yeah.
Well, then I just got a residential rental.
I mean, and it depends on what I think 3 or more. Actually, 3 or more is commercial. So
okay.
Yeah, and it depends on how it's zoned too,
bro. Look at the haters,
and it's how it's zoned too, what the area is zoned for.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a commercial building. Boom,
there you go. Say it.
You got it.
Say
bro.
it. Take it.
I just want you to know what your asset was. You know what I mean?
My man, straight he's a commercial broker. Thank you.
There you go.
So yeah, man, let's get into the first real estate topic here. Okay. The first, I guess, and only real estate topic, unless Nick got something.
I'm gonna let it rock, just like in rhythm, bro.
I love it.
So the latest 2024 housing market forecast. So according to this article, it's talking about what experts forecast for 2024. Did I say 2022? I meant 2024 housing forecast because we already know what happened in 2022, unless you were sleeping. So this article starts, the new year is right around the corner. You may be wondering if 2024 is the right time to buy or sell a house. If you want to make the most informed decision possible, it's important for you to know what the experts have to say and what's ahead for the housing market. Spoiler alert, the projections may be better than you think. Here's why. Another spoiler alert, the experts are always wrong because nobody really knows anything. Everybody says they got these expert forecasts. They're always wrong, bro.
They make it up.
Yeah, they make it up.
They're just making it up.
It's all a prediction. I mean, we're always predicting stuff too. So
absolutely.
I feel like we got more, understanding of the market. More than, Lawrence Yun does. He's the president of NAR. Shout out to Lawrence Yun, but he's always saying a bunch of stuff.
He usually jab Lawrence, whoever the guy is.
Yeah,
he's going to see this.
Yeah, if he sees it, that'll be good for us. Maybe he'll come on. But no, I think that we're always like understanding what the market what's going to happen in the market. But last year we were all pitching 2-1 buy down programs, right? Lenders were pitching them, agents were pitching them, and rates did not go back down. So people should know that like we're giving you our opinion on what's going to happen in the market because we're there, but do not, you can't sue us because we're not giving you absolute 100%.
Well, I mean, you can't sue us. The whole National Association of Realtors just got sued, but that's a different.
Yeah, we keep going right now.
Okay. There's that.
Are you in it? You're not
in it. It doesn't matter to you. You're getting the bag on another front.
No, I mean,
the
whole thing's getting sued.
You see I'm coming with the topics right now?
I got you. Without having one. He's on it. That's what I'm talking about.
So, this article continues. Let's listen to their fake forecast here.
Okay.
This is probably wrong forecast. As you can see on the orange bars on the left, I'm going to post this on the YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, go to YouTube. On average, the experts forecast prices will end up around 2.8% higher overall this year and increase by another 1.5% by the end of 2024. They said that that's big news considering that most people thought that prices would crash this year. The truth is, the reason that prices did not come down, which is exactly what we've been talking about, inventory.
So you want to give us our opinion on that?
That's because there weren't enough homes.
It looked like you were still reading, you know what I mean?
That's because there weren't enough homes compared. See, Marcus knows when to jump in. That's why I gave you like the breath. All right, I'm going to try this again. We build as we fly.
We do a serious podcast.
But like we said, we do know that most of us knew that house prices weren't going to come crashing down. Yeah. Because it just didn't make sense numerically.
Before I talk, I just want to shout out Marcus, Mortgage Coach Marcus. I'm in your seat right now. Appreciate you. This is not a comfortable seat, bro. Like, I have to sit up in here.
It's going to be like 6'8", bro.
But shouts to Marcus.
All the furniture I buy is for like 5'4" people like
5'4", right? I'm like, dang. I don't know how Marcus is sitting in here. But no, yeah, I mean, that is what we've been saying, and that's what we've been seeing happening, right? Like, prices are not going to go down. I grew up, I'm a millennial, right? So when I was in high school, I graduated high school 2008. So for 3 years in high school, it was like, the market's gonna crash, the Great Recession. Like, you're not going to get a job, right? Like, the economy's going downhill. And so all of my entire sphere was just like waiting. Since 2017, they were like, oh, like, prices are going to drop. It's going to crash. We're going to be able to buy foreclosures like everyone did in 06. And then that didn't happen. And it didn't happen again. And then the pandemic hit. And then prices went crazy. And so then people thought like, okay, well, prices must go back down because there's a bubble. And prices are still increasing year over year. And
see, what's crazy is that he just said this real quick. Though. He graduated in 2008. That means I lived through the time that crash that you're talking about, right? 2008, I was in my first home and all of that happened. Oh, wow. So it's like perspective really kind of lends itself to how you see things going forward. Like, seeing those ebbs and flows and how things work really kind of position you for what's to come and like how to prepare for that.
Yeah. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody was preparing for what they thought could happen, right? And then it didn't happen. And so I have a client right now. He just bought, and I've been trying to get him to buy since 2017, and he didn't, obviously. And his mortgage payment is $1,000 more than what it would have been. Dang. And the houses that he wanted, his price point never increased, right? Wow. So the house that he wanted to buy in 2017 was fully updated with the garage, everything, and it cost $150,000 more than it would have in 2017. And I'm like, bro, you need to look at this like you just lost $1,000 a month and $150,000 cash equity. You know what I mean? Which is actually more because you've been paying down his mortgage balance. So I don't see, homes crashing. I think that everyone's waiting everyone's trying to wait for like where's the inventory going to come from, right? Like I'm looking at downsizers. Everyone thinks like Airbnb. There's supposed to be like a flood of inventory coming in, right? And then prices can come down. But if that happens, like we'll just be in a balanced market anyway because there's nothing on the market. So yeah, I have some listings right now, and what's happening? The difference is we're kind of back in a normal market. So like in a market where we should be in a seller's market because there's low inventory, high demand of buyers, the market's kind of normalized itself in a way because homes are sitting on. I think the average days now is like 17 days. The last time I checked it, so we're like in a 2.5 week market. That's good for buyers. And you can get closing costs again, right? I have a listing under contract right now where I can get where the buyers have closing costs. They went up in the sales price to get it, but they also have home inspection, appraisal, finance contingencies. So all of that is back in the contract, which was out of the contract a couple years ago. So I think the market is normal.
I mean, one thing I think to your point, you made a bunch of points. Very interesting.
Yeah, this guy's smart. You know what you're doing over there. This guy know what he's doing.
He's smarter than he looks, right? I think the thing that a lot of buyers, unfortunately, I think there's this, and we talked about this on a couple podcasts. This internal, these cultural beliefs that are built into the psychology of buyers, of all of us, of consumers, right? One of the cultural beliefs that's embedded into our entire psyches, our collective psyche, is you need to wait for things to go on sale.
We kind of were just talking about that, right?
Right. And wait because, like the sofa, we wait for Black Friday, wait for it to go on sale, right?
Right.
And the challenge with most people who aren't in real estate every day, like we are, is they don't know when the sale actually was. Because we just had a sale. We had 2% interest rate sale.
Yeah.
Right. Then in January, we hit a bottom at the beginning of the year. We had another sale. We had an inventory crash. We had a sale again because we had the low prices dropped around December, and we had the lowest prices that we had this year, and then everything just skyrocketed again after January. So there was a sale again, and I think it would be comparable to like stocks, right? Or like really, and probably in commercial real estate too. When you don't know what the numbers are telling you, then you just have to go off of, watching CNN or listening to your auntie or your uncle who's saying, oh, well, back in 2008, right? Like back in 1929, all the banks crashed and you couldn't get your money out. So don't trust banks, right? Yeah. Don't get you like that's what my grandma used to say.
Yeah.
She died in 97, never owned anything because she didn't trust banks because she grew up during the Great Depression. Right. So that was burned into her psyche. Don't trust banks, when she could have been a multimillionaire by the time she passed away.
Yeah.
But because of one belief, it affected every single decision she made. And I see a lot of people making that same mistake because of one belief from 2008 that happened. Now they think that anytime there's a shift, anytime there's a recession, that means there's going to be a preceding price drop.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, you make a very good point. I think that's where we as real estate advisors come into play because we have to use our knowledge, historical data, like you said, the stock market. That's how people make educated guesses on what stock to buy and where to go next. I think that clients rely on us to give them that kind of historical data and analysis of it because we know when the sale drops. That's one thing. The second thing is knowing what your goal is, right? What kind of return do I want? So in commercial real estate, we look at that a lot. What is that return that I want on the money? And if my return is 5%, if I see that it's dropped 10%, there's an opportunity. If I see this drop 6%, there's an opportunity. And right, using that as a metric to say it's sale time for me, right? It can be different for other people, but just using that as something to say, okay, look, now I'm going to get in because I can get out when I need to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. And people discount the fact that you can hold your real estate. So you can't do this so much anymore because of where the rates are. But when I first got into real estate, I've been like 7 years now. When I first got into real estate, like the big thing was you could buy your mortgage would be cheaper than your rent, right? And so if that's true, if you have a $2,000 mortgage and your neighborhood is a $2,300 rental neighborhood, right? Or even if it's a $2,000 rental neighborhood, if you own your crib and you want to move out of it. Yeah. And buy something else, and the market drops, and you can't sell to get the equity that you would have had. Well, you could just like rent it out, bro.
Yeah,
and,
you
can
literally not sell.
You could just keep some. You can keep some cash. You can get some cash flow potentially, or you can break even and have someone else pay for it and wait for the market to come back, which it always does, and then you don't lose anything. So I remember Lauren's parents. My wife's name is Lauren. Lauren's cousins were buying a crib in New Hampshire. She's from New Hampshire, so I got a white wife, like New Hampshire white, right? And so,
Did she watch this?
There's no black people in New Hampshire. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, there's no black people in New Hampshire, dog, right? And so, I remember her cousin. I was helping them like do a deal up there, like just like coaching them through the deal, and they were like, "Well, what if the market crashes?" I was like, "When do you guys plan to sell this?" And they're like, probably like 20 years, 25 years. Like, and I was like, so then it doesn't matter if the market crashes. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like, you can hold on to it. So
that was, we were talking to, who did we talk to last week? We was talking to a lender. His name's Carlo. And it brings up a good question. It begs a very good question when you hear those types of questions or those types of responses, which the question is, what's your definition of crash? Right? Like, what do you mean? Well, what if the real estate market crashes? Tell me more about that. What does a crash look like to you? What's your definition of that word? Are you saying, what if home values drop? Are you saying, what if a bunch of people loses their home and we have an influx of foreclosers? Are you saying, what if we have a bunch of rate lock homeowners and we have no inventory? Like, what's the definition? Are we referring to 2008 when there was a bunch of mortgage fraud and false appraisals and a bunch of credit default swaps and ninja loans, and then a bunch of people who shouldn't have had houses then got kicked out of their houses, and what are we defining as a crash? Because when we do that, then we can say, okay, I'm waiting for a bunch of credit default swaps. I'm waiting for these people to lie about the quality of these loans, collateralize these loans, sell them on the secondary market, and then for all those people to then default on their loans and crash. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Right. And to his point, does it really matter, depending upon what you're trying to do? If you're going to keep it for 20 years, okay, then it's not really a crash for you.
Because look at the home values of the people who owned their houses in 2008 and didn't sell, and they still have them.
They're up.
They're up. Stupid up.
And they're gonna get another boom. They got the credit. They got the pandemic boom. But when rates go back down, it's gonna boom again. So they're about to be up. That's why like the flip thing is cool, but like buy and hold, yo, and just hold for. Like I'm thinking right now, I'm like, yo, I need to buy. You know, I have a 13-year-old, so that's already over, right? But I have like 2 kids.
Nick Bush had a kid when he was like 15 years old.
I was 20.
There you go. There you go. Start early.
Nick's 30. His kid's 28.
But I'm like, I have the other 2, and I'm like, yo, I need to buy some property to pay for their college. You know, I could just stack up until 529 and like cash flow coming out of my house every month. I could do that, but also I can just like buy a house with, you know, maybe 5% down with the right lender. But I could put 20% down right now, buy a house, and just like have someone paying that. And then in 15 years, 16 years, whatever, when we need the cash for college, like I could just sell it, or I could just do a HELOC and send them to college that way. I didn't have to put no money up for it except that initial 20%.
College gonna be dead by the time our kids get old anyway, bro.
Maybe, but like, I'm just saying.
You don't need college to get into marketing. You don't need college to get into cybersecurity. You don't need college to get into business,
real estate.
You don't need college to get into real estate. You don't need the only thing you really need college for is like an advanced like degree, like
so my wife, my wife just got her PhD.
To be a PhD,
there you go.
Her mom's a teacher. They're going to college.
But that's because they're going to be indoctrinated into college culture. Well, I don't deny that. I'm just saying it's not going to be necessary. It's not necessary now. It's definitely not necessary 20 years from now.
College. Then nothing is necessary, right? Like
exactly.
College is a good thing. College is not only
I didn't
good.
Say college is bad.
College is a good thing for a few different reasons. The degree, you're saying the degree doesn't matter, but the degree can help you get into certain rooms, right? Like it can help you get certain jobs.
It can.
A master's degree is actually valuable. A bachelor's degree is not valuable. I don't have a degree, right?
Look at all the people. I think for the large majority of people who go to college, they're going to college for the wrong reasons.
Well, that's the other reason you should go to college. 80% of people that get a degree, they don't do what their degree is. Like they do something in a different field, which is fine. But also, bro, like the value of going to college, and I did 3 nice semesters in college, is like you got to get away from the crib, bro. Like
I think it's the experience, like the relationships. I mean, that's kind of the thing, you know. I mean, I got a degree. It's not in real estate at all. Yeah. And you know, my first couple semesters at Howard, man, I went to Howard University. And, you know, my grade point average, the first semester was 1.27.
Yeah.
So it was bad.
But I mean, I'm looking at the future where back during the Cosby Show era, when they were indoctrinating all of us to go to college and, you know, a different world where it was like, the college experience, right?
Yeah.
Where 80% of the people who go to college, and I don't know, I'm making that number up. I'm making that number up. But a large majority of the people that go to college end up with a bunch of student loan debt, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. By the time our kids go to college, probably going to be about $150,000, right, of student loan debt just for a bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. And they come out and either they went and didn't know what they were supposed to be going for, or they got a completely useless degree in like the humanities or like basket weaving, you know, or lesbian dance theory or something like that, where it's like, yo, what are we going to get a degree that then they get out into the workforce mm-hmm. and either they regret it, and everybody knows that. They either regret it or they got to go back and double down and get another degree, or they get a job field in something that's completely not related to their degree because of, let me say this last thing, because of what we call credentialism, right? Mm-hmm. Where people like us that are hiring now and people like the boomers that were hiring that forced us to get these degrees won't even look at your resume if you don't have a degree in anything. Like just some non-related arts and humanities degree, and you're applying for a computer science position or whatever, or you're applying for a job as an executive assistant at a WeWork or whatever, right? Yeah. They're just looking for a degree because they are trying to develop some baseline level of competence to know that, okay, well, at least you can finish something. That's cool. But that whole culture of credentialism has breeded a large amount of people who are just getting degrees, mm-hmm. but they don't know why they have they're not using the degree that they got the degree in.
Bro, but that's okay. Like you're like talking in a straight absolute about college, and it's a lot of nuance, bro, that you're missing out on, bro. Like getting a degree is valuable. The issue with college is that they sold an entire generation that you have to go to college or else you won't be successful. And that's not true. So really what you like are speaking against is that notion, right?
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The reality is that people that go to college typically earn more money and do better at life than people that don't go to college. Not us, and you got to think like we in our own bubble, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I don't have a degree and I wouldn't go back and get a degree, right? And mm-hmm. I would be happy if my kid said, you know what, I have another plan other than college. But there is value in going to college and being on campus and having that experience. And there is value in getting a degree, like having a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. Do you think, you brought up credentialism. Do you see that play out in the residential real estate? You know, having a certain designation. So does that play out?
No.
So it can.
Okay, so I wanted to know.
So you got all that like GRI. Sure. I learned how to negotiate. Yeah. That doesn't matter. But I got a certification, certified divorce real estate expert. Right? Okay. So I am certified in helping divorce people, you know, people who are going through a divorce sell their home, right? And if I say that in any like BNI or whatever I'm at, everybody's like, yo, what's that? Like, huh? You know what I mean? So people are intrigued enough to have a conversation with me. And then they're like, oh, I know some. And then that gives me the opportunity to ask, do you know some divorce attorneys? Also, real estate expert, right, matters because I've been deposed and testified for lawyers, right? Because when you go into court, being an expert, right? What does court want? An expert witness, right? So I'm a certified divorce real estate expert, which gives me leverage in court to talk about the real estate process more than any other agent. Mm-hmm. So now I can connect with the state, with divorce attorneys and get referrals from them because I'm an expert. So I'm more of a professional. So that just means like, don't get the human, don't get a degree in urban planning, maybe, right? Get the law degree. But like, there's value in having some type of certification.
But do you see that in commercial?
So I mean, there's SIOR, which is a designation for office and industrial, and then there's CCIM, which you've probably heard of. So I mean, these designations are very important, specifically when you're dealing with enterprise and capital buyers and investors. But those designations, I look at it like this: like, designation doesn't breed reputation, right? Yeah. And then reputation builds business, right? So as long as you're going out there and you're making deals and you're making good, solid deals, people are going to mess with you. They're going to connect you. So you don't have to. This is the college thing. You don't have to have a designation in commercial real estate. It does help, but that doesn't stop you from being a multi-million-dollar, agent.
And the problem is not the problem. The thing is like, I think that like the reality is there's like 10% of people that really matter. You know what I mean? Like in everything. So like in real estate, what is it like? 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business, right? On a football team, there's 56 people on an NFL franchise. 5 to 6 of them really matter. On a basketball team, there's 12 people.
Yeah.
2 matter, maybe 3 matter, right?
Yeah.
So, and then even from an income standpoint, like, if you're in the top 10% in the country, you're doing like, I think that's like over 100,000, like a little over 100,000. You're making 6 figures. You're like in a good space, right? If you have someone else make it over 100,000, so like really, like the 10% is like the gauge anyway. You know what I mean?
That's
So I think that like, and like the 90% of people don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
they live average.
Like that bottom, the mediocre middle, and the bottom people that just kind of feed off of the rest of everybody else. I think
I didn't say it like that.
No, I said it like that. It's the truth, right? They're just sitting there, and then there's like the people. So I think a lot of it has to do with kind of piggyback on what you're saying with the designations. Mm-hmm. Back to my original point, which is college is not necessary because specialized knowledge is way more valuable in this economy. Mm-hmm. So going to college to major in to say I'm getting my degree in business. Okay, cool.
Well, that's what the master's is for, to specialize. You just got to get the bachelor's. It's a prerequisite to get the bachelor's for the master's.
Exactly.
So maybe they finesse us a little bit.
And right, they definitely finesse us. And like, for example, you could go and get courses, take specifically in cybersecurity and get all the freaking designations because you'll make more money with a license than you will with a degree. And that's already been proven out. You'll make way more money as a plumber with a license than you will with a bachelor's degree in social work, right? Yeah. So it's not just having a degree, it's having specialized knowledge. My question to you is, what are the what's the jump in neighborhoods like for commercial, but locally, like DMV, what's jumping? Where should people be? Because obviously I think most people who are in residential, we want to get into commercial. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like all lenders want to be real estate agents. They won't say it.
They picked the wrong side. I'm always like, why'd you pick the side that makes the less money? Like,
hey, wait till Marcus get it.
I'm like, you only wanted to make 1%.
Like, oh man, I'm already down here now. I can't go back. But all residential, we want to be commercial brokers.
But see, y'all can do it. I mean,
y'all keep saying that, man.
You can do the deals. I think you say jumping, so I'm just gonna make an assumption here. I think the best neighborhoods to get into in terms of commercial is neighborhood serving retail or neighborhood serving industrial or something like self-storage, because that's the growth that's happening in the area, and that's what you want to support. So if there's commercial space, I mean, you talking about Brentwood, we talked about Brentwood. Yeah. I mean, there are places, Brooklyn, there's some places where they have small little retail and commercial spots, but there's lots of residential around it. So that's a place that I would jump into. And also places like, also with the office situation we were talking about, you have a lot of office inventory, commercial real estate, and they really don't know what to do with it. I mean, the government's buying up a bunch of that. You have investors, offshore investors buying up a bunch of that. But if you can find commercial office real estate spaces and utilize those and convert those into some other use, I mean, that's an opportunity just waiting to happen throughout the city.
The people in the chief seats, how do you get into, let's say, you want to buy a commercial space and then convert that joint into residential, or you want to convert it into storage or something like that. How do you fund that type of thing? You got a single family 3-bedroom house over in, off Bennett Road in the hood, right? And people shooting and stuff. And
why I gotta shoot in Bennett Road?
Things happens in Hillcrest.
This is an imaginary person, and and you want to live in Hillcrest, but you're not there yet. And then you this is an imaginary person.
Imaginary person, gotcha. Okay.
What does that person do to say, all right, I want to jump into like the commercial space? What's the funding like? What's the paper got to look like?
So it would depend on the homework. I would say the first thing you got to do is do your homework, because you don't want to jump out in there and do something and then you end up, ass out later down the road because you didn't spend. But identifying, do the lease versus buy analysis, right? Determine, how I'm going to get it, because you can get a commercial at a lease, starting with the lease and kind of establish a brand, establish a business, and then acquire real estate that way, right? So I would look at it from that perspective and figure out which is best. And then come up with a growth strategy, right? What do I want this money to do for me 5 years, 10 years down the road? Like, what is that going to look like? Because that's going to tell you what types of assets to actually invest in. right? Building a team. So you asked the question about raising money. Like, so there's one way, of course, you can get a loan and you can get it funded, but you can also build a capital stack, right? Basically getting you and a bunch of your friends together to come up with this money that's needed. And not all of the money either. You can use leverage depreciation, and basically you just come up with a certain percentage of the money. Say it's $250,000, then go to a bank for them to fund the rest of it. And you all as a group become an entity to be able to go out and acquire different real estate. So the area, figuring out which area you want to be in, like which area is best going to be utilized for the type of service or operating you're going to do, for that area. So those are different things that you can do in terms of like jumping in, but homework is very important, right? Your team, right? Your lender, if you have a lender, your CPA, your broker, your real estate agent, if you need one, get as much of the information up front so that you're not, getting yourself stuck later on.
So anytime I've had a commercial lead, right, I'm always like, it never works out because the person doesn't have enough capital or they don't have a business plan, so they can't get the leads or whatever. And every time, so my goal is always like, look, do this deal with them, but like, bring me along so I can pick up the terminology and understand, right?
Yeah.
And then unfortunately it never moves forward. But I think that it's always difficult from the real estate agent side and from the regular person side is because when you say like, how do I buy a house, right? There's clear, get pre-approved, save 3% or 6%, whatever that is. Figure out what price point you want to buy at, which you want your mortgage payment to be. You'll get 47% of equity on every year.
Right.
And then if someone wants to get into real estate, you're just like, okay, these are the ways we target your sphere. These are some lead gen strategies, right? It's very easy.
Right.
But every commercial agent is like,
just get into
all right, well, you can just do it. But like, there are all these complexities. There's no clear English.
No, it's easy. Let me break it down. We all take the same exam. Okay, we all take the same real estate exam, state, national. We all take the same exam, right?
Yeah.
But what happens after that is what determines like where you're going to go, right? So for us, it's a commercial real estate track, and I think for me, once I got my license, I went into, I was with Coldwell Banker Commercial, right? Okay. And so I went straight into commercial, and I had the opportunity and the disadvantage of being thrown into multiple different verticals, right? So self-storage, hospitality, I did a land deal, a church deal, and it was good in that I'm learning the different aspects of it, but I think I would have been better at kind of selecting a niche and kind of focusing directly on that because that type of education track is going to look different. Yeah. So you take your exam, you figure out your education path, and then you connect with somebody with experience. Those are the 3 steps.
Yeah, and then you learn all that terminology.
And then you learn it as you go along. One of the, I think for me, about 75% of my business comes from residential agents, right?
Yeah.
Because
a lot don't know better.
No, because a lot of you all do. I mean, you can do commercial lease at all. I mean, that's not the goal. The goal for me is to provide the best value for the client, right? And for us, for me, it's value over volume, right? Yeah. Let me identify all the deals that I can do that can provide the best value, right? As opposed to just taking any and everything. Like you said, there's some people that aren't prepared. And we help, we do help emerging businesses come into the market. We get their tenant packages together so that we can present it to a landlord so that it does look appealing and there are deals that are made. But it's not taking everything, right? It's just finding those things that you can provide the best value and then showing up.
So what was your first, you took the exam. You popping bottles that night.
I did something like that.
Then what did you do?
Okay, so I went to
the next day.
So a little bit of the backstory of me. So my dad has been commercial real estate for the past. We're in real estate education, all things real estate for the past 40 years, right? 40, 50 years. So he owns a real estate school currently, Henderson Professional Development Seminars. That's a plug. Maryland, D.C., Virginia, Las Vegas, Hawaii, San Antonio, and Boca Raton, Florida.
I've seen this online somewhere.
Yeah, you probably seen it. Yeah. So, so I grew up with, I was always at the real estate office, and I hated it. All of my Saturdays, I wanted to watch cartoons. Well, my dad drugged me downtown 15th and K, where his office was, and I was just stuck in that real estate environment. It didn't really pick up then, but a few years, I went to school, went to college, played music, had fun playing music, touring, doing stuff like that. But I started an IT company after that. So I went totally against real estate. And the IT company got spun up and developed to the point to where it's staffed. I don't have to be there. It's kind of running on its own.
That's great.
Then I looked to get back into commercial real estate. So I went to my dad and I said, hey, look, so I took the test. I passed the test. Like, what's next? And he referred me to broker Sally Griffin in Caldwell Banker Commercial. I went to her and I said, hey, look, I'm here to do real estate. I'm going to do commercial real estate. She said, well, you should try residential at first. You should, kind of get in and, get your feet wet. And I was like, no, I think I'm good. Like, I don't want to do that. She was like, I think it'd be good. You come into the office. I said, that's cool. That's fine. I mean, all right. I don't want to do this for just to kind of do it. Like, I really want to do commercial real estate. So she assigned me to Scott at the time. Scott, he was the supervising broker for a Caldwell Banker Commercial, and kind of went in there. And then Scott was like, okay, first deal, we're going to put you on a team. We got to show, 30 different self-storage units to a client out of Atlanta. And I'm like, oh gosh. And so I don't know anything. I'm still going through my education track to kind of learn commercial real estate. And that was my introduction. I was part of a team of 6 people. We came into the area. We had to show property all throughout from Virginia all the way up to Baltimore to this client. And I remember I'm sitting in a car with the client, and he asked me a question. I think something about like the after-tax value of something, and I didn't know anything.
After-tax
something.
ATV.
Tax value of the cost, and what kind of income will we get on if we salvage it? And I'm just like, yeah. Right. That was my answer. Yeah. That's all I did. And then fortunately the broker was in the back and he chimed in. But it was really just like a crash course into it, man. Yeah. And I started to learn and pick up and started to do a lot of reading on my own and investing in myself and developing my mind that way.
So where are you guys picking clients up from? Is it mostly B2B? Because, we're out pitching people that we see on buying and selling, right? But that's not really the approach for a commercial broker, right? You're not meeting some person at happy hour and being like, yo, you should pick up some commercial property.
No, absolutely. That's where, we're meeting them everywhere you all are meeting them. Because, we're having conversations. We're going to business meetings. We're going to, one of the things that I do, and this is a key that anybody can use, is I go to where real estate agents aren't. Because a lot of times we go to these real estate functions and it's all real estate agents. We all looking at each other, which is cool. We can chop it up and it's good. But
I miss a lot of those nowadays.
But depends on what your market is, right? So say you want to be able to get some of these high value people. So I'm going to lawyer conventions. I'm paying to go to these medical conventions. And it's not even that I'm registering for the convention. I'm figuring out where it is. And I'm going to go to the hotel, the host hotel, and sit in the lobby and have a conversation. And I'm the only agent there. See, there's a difference, right? Because it's not happy hour with multiple agents.
Right.
I'm the only agent there.
I work with a financial planner. I don't work with a financial. I know a financial planner. He's with Bernstein.
Okay.
And before I got into real estate, I was in hospitality. So I used to work at the Ritz, and I worked at the Fairmont also.
There you go.
And he's always like, yo, Nick, like, hook me up with the concierge so I can know when the events are happening. So, because we get like Horatio Alger comes in, and he's like, yo, I just want to park in the hotel bar and like start having these conversations. So it is a good way. I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier when we were talking about like holding your real estate so that you don't have to sell. I recently heard that commercial is not like that, right? Like, because you get the balloon lease or the balloon mortgages, right? That sometimes your payment goes up after a 5-year period. Well,
I'm not too sure with commercial financing aspect of it. A lot of the properties that we do come from capital buyers that buy it, or REITs, real estate investment trusts, that buy it outright. So it's not of lending. But in terms of like holding money, I think that there are lots of different assets in commercial real estate that will take your money and give you a return on that money, sometimes far greater than residential, or multifamily is huge too. Depending upon you going 10 doors, 20 doors
commercial space, right?
Bam, there you go. You can generate income that way. So but that's where that's a place that I would look to hold money, because you're going to get a better return than sitting in the bank.
I know a ton of investors who were doing residential. And then, Josh Green at Eastern Title? Mm. Well, Josh, he's been investing in real estate. And now he's like, look, bro, I don't do any residential. I have a group together. We're buying shopping centers.
So you see what you said there. You have a group. So, I really strongly encourage that. Dr. Claude Anderson, he wrote a book called Powernomics, right? It's not specifically towards real estate. It's just about the economy and group economics, right? getting a bunch of people together on the same page is how you can. Your first deal doesn't have to be the little mom and pop store here. Your first deal could be, a sizable, 16 unit, 20 unit building.
Yeah.
Right. You get the right players on the other point. I mean, your team, building your team out. Say, okay, look, this is what we're going to go do. This person's going to program the deal. Basically, write it out in terms of what's going to happen with the cash, what's going to be the value, what are the tax incentives. They're going to program the deal. We're going to figure out, okay, this is what we need. People are going to put their money at. They're going to secure the funding. So the group is really how you can get into the market and really acquire like large assets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you of course you can do it individually. You can buy, a retail, but to really, and you mentioned DC. So getting a group of people together that, have money because, people say they have money and then it's time to put the money up.
Oh man, I don't think I'll be able to do it, bro.
I don't know. My checking account and my bank account.
I gotta move the money from my checking to my savings.
Yeah.
Gotta post.
Yeah.
It ain't clear yet.
So let's get into the DMV market report. I call it something different every week. So this week is going to be the DMV update report market. Sometimes I call it the market report for the DMV market report, the report for the DMV, the DC Metro market.
The 100th episode, you'll get it right.
It's not going to be right. It's always going to be something different.
That'll be the one.
All right, let's get into the DC Metro area report for the market here. For October, the October numbers came out. So if you've been paying attention, last month, September, January, March, April, May, June, July. When I'm doing the months, I have to start all the way from the beginning. Do you have to do that?
Hilarious.
I have to start all the way from the beginning.
January,
February, March, April, May, June, July, September,
October.
September. So I
you don't know October is the 10th.
I mean,
month.
I probably could build some skill set to help me do it.
He said build some skills.
But I'm just how often do I have to do?
That's because you ain't spent no time in college, my boy.
No, I did spend time in college, but I dropped out. So that was probably.
Did you go to Montgomery College?
The next semester they was going to go over the monthly calendar, and I bounced before.
Were you at Montgomery College?
I went to Bowie.
I went to Bowie State.
Yeah, I got this.
I went to Montgomery College for like a half a semester.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I graduated from Bowie. I started at Howard.
Oh, you graduated from Bowie?
Yeah, started at Howard. Then I had to pay my own tuition.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to Montgomery College.
Uh-huh.
And then I graduated from Bowie.
Oh, so you a bulldog?
BSU. Yeah.
You went to BSU.
Yeah.
BS. Got that BS
All right,
degree.
so October is the 10th month.
Yeah.
You know that now. I think October 10th.
Well, here's a funny fact that's not relevant to this. The October, this usually is 8, right?
Right.
Octagram or octagon. But we're in the 10th month.
Yeah.
September is the same thing. November is for 9 and December is for 10. Deca.
So they got that wrong,
decade.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But the reason we have a 12-month calendar is because of the Emperor of Rome, Augustine, I believe, who created August for him. He named August after himself. And July for the god of something like Jupiter or something. He added 2 months to what we use now as the Gregorian calendar. So that's why October, which would really be the 8th month, is now the 10th month.
And you didn't learn that in college, did you?
I didn't learn that in college.
See, there you go.
Look at that.
I was drinking Snapple, and I looked on the top of a Snapple.
Bam.
You know how to
There
get
you
the
go.
interesting facts?
That's right.
You retain that. I would never retain that. You know what I mean?
So that's the key. Don't go to college. Drink Snapple. I'm gonna put my affiliate link below. So for October, we so in September we had a downturn in the prices. We went from a high of about $550 median sale price to about $525,000 median sale price in September, and now we're back up in October. So we're down on everything as far as new listings. We're down 4% from this time last month, and down 20% new listings from this time last year. We're down pending this time from this time last month 1%, and from this time last year. These are the properties that are under contract that people have written contracts on. We're down 7% from this time last year, and we're down closed sales this time last month 3%, and from this time last year we're down 12% for closed properties. People buying houses, getting their keys, moving into it. Notwithstanding all those down numbers, we're up 1% from this time last month in the median sale price. And we're up 2% from this time last year.
Yep.
So if you bought a property last year, the home value, and you waited a year, you'll pay 2% more for that exact same house from last year to this year.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot of money, guys. $10,000 on a 400,000, basically.
Yeah.
You know, maybe less than that. I can't do the math that quick. I know 3% is 12. I don't know how to.
It's because you didn't go to college, bro.
Well, I did go to college. 3 semesters.
You finished?
No, 3 semesters. Then I had a kid. I dropped out.
Oh yeah.
I went the first semester,
like 12 years
and
old,
then I was like hella broke, and I was like, man, I ain't been broke in a long time. I can't do this. Mom Dukes was not just sending me money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, here's $20. I'm like, it's 2008, dog. And so then I came back home for the second semester. And then in the summer, everybody was going back to college. And I was like, I'm a bum, like, mofo, like, around here, not in college. Then I went back to college. And all my friends that didn't go to college, they bums right now. And I made it, you know what I'm
saying? They're all watching this hot right now. Look at him.
They ain't make it out like that, you know what I'm
saying?
See,
they thought you was going to be a loser because you had a kid in junior high school.
They did think I was going to
there you go.
They did think I fell off. You know, actually the most important line, the most important bar in any rap song ever is 50 Cent. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie.
Man.
Because I was the man in high school. But he said that, and I didn't know what it meant at the time, but I knew, like, okay, don't just be the man in high school. Stay the man. And that kept me motivated in my early 20s to figure it out.
Shout out to 50 Cent.
Hip-hop works.
But, no, 2%. Like, I just think that people need to, like, we need to go back to that number. Look, the market went up 2%. There are less homes for sale. Way less homes for sale, right? Interest rates are high 7s, and they've been parked there for like 9 months now. And it doesn't matter because prices still went up. I think people just gotta like we can talk about this. What do they say? Beat the dead horse. Like home prices are going up. Buy a crib and collect your cash. You know what I mean? Because your money is not earning you 2% year over year, unless it's it could be in a high yield savings account, right? It could be in the market, but if it's just sitting in your Capital One account, it's not earning you 2%.
Yeah, but you're losing money because you're just paying. You have to live somewhere.
You have to live somewhere.
So it's a wash. Like you're spending the money on a depreciating asset, which is renting an apartment building or renting an apartment unit, versus putting that money in your house, which you can really consider that kind of like a small piggy bank for you. That you got to spend that money anyway.
How do you feel about when people say? Your primary residence isn't an asset. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
isn't an asset?
Isn't an asset.
Well, here's the question. You're phrasing it. No, you're trying to frame the question. Is a primary residence, would you consider that an asset or a
liability? Or a liability?
It's an asset.
Okay. Why do you think it's an asset?
Well, why wouldn't it be an asset? It's real estate. I mean, anything that's going to appreciate over time, excuse me, greater than inflation is an asset. That's my take.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I just, Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he said in there, your primary residence isn't an asset, it's a liability. And I'm like, how if it's growing in value? How if I can pull cash out of it, right? Like, how if I can sell it in profit, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
But you were saying, I gotta look back at that episode because, so here's what I was saying though, because I do understand that, I understand that statement where he's like, your house is not an asset. I think for most people, it is an asset because it's appreciating in value. Mm-hmm. Now, you do have debt on that property.
Right. And you have to pay out of pocket to keep.
And then there's expenses. I don't consider the expenses a liability because that's a wash, in my opinion. That's a part of maintaining the asset. Like if you had stocks and stuff, you got to pay fees and stuff like that to liquidate it. So I'm not considering that. But I am considering the debt on the property as a liability because it's costing you money. Mm-hmm. So once you own it free and clear, you still got to pay taxes on it. But once you own it free and clear, I feel like, okay, it's a pure asset. Mm-hmm. You still have debt on the property, just like, so that's the liability. Like if you don't pay it, there's a lien on it, right? So you don't own it free and clear. But I still feel like a house is an asset 100% because it's going up in value. Rental properties are assets because you own debt, but the debt is being paid by somebody else.
Right. Yeah, right.
So to me, that's a higher performing asset. Example, a car is a liability, right? But I think that the car, because it's going down in value and you're paying debt on it, to me, it's a double loss liability.
Right. And this is why commercial real estate is important, right? Because you look at places, I mean, any type may can vary, but car washes and laundry mats or maybe retail stores, right? From a business standpoint, you'll say, well, maybe I don't need to buy a commercial asset, but I'll lease it. The lease costs are going to get absorbed, but I'm still going to make money over it. It's going to income generate for me. So, I mean, anywhere that you can put your money that you're going to get more of a return on it, like that's where you want to focus your attention at,
Yeah.
What do you think is, and maybe this is, I'll just ask a question. What do you think is the best commercial investment, like the commercial asset?
I'm about to tell you, right?
Storage.
Whatever your goals are.
Come on, man. Give us
so let me ask you a question.
Your goals are.
Where would you invest in commercial? Where do you invest in commercial?
So, my family's portfolio, we have about 19 properties.
Right.
I like how you say what you say. My family's portfolio.
No, because my dad started it, and we've been acquiring. So you got your stuff in
a trust.
Yeah, so it's in the trust. So we have a retail plaza. We have 2 retail plazas. We have multifamily homes. We have residential homes in the portfolio as well. We have coffee shops. We have. There are a multitude of things in there. I think the highest yielding one for us would be assisted living facility.
That's great.
Assisted living facility.
You own a Sunrise,
right? Yeah. So we had, I think ours has 10 beds at 12 beds right now.
The Sunrise does. Is it a Sunrise or is it just like an assisted?
It's assisted living. Assisted living. So the way that it operates and the cost for the beds per beds and the way the insurance, I think that's the highest yielding.
It's like $11,000 a month, right?
It depends on what it is. It makes a lot of money. But then the thing is, you use all the properties in the trust to go acquire new properties. So you loan against those to go get additional properties. Yeah. So, and you keep going, you keep doing it. You use that value to say, hey, look, let me appreciate this and go get something else.
So what was your first acquisition?
My for the portfolio, my first one was, what can I count that? Yeah, well, my first one was a barbershop.
Okay.
A barbershop.
Kept it real black.
Yeah, it was a barbershop at Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was in an area so Fort Bragg is down there. And so if you're familiar with Fayetteville, there's Murchison Road. They call it the Merc. Because people shoot and get killed, much like over where you used to at.
I don't live
there. Or someone says,
I don't live over there. I don't live over there. I'm just saying.
Shots fired. So it was a barbershop. It was a retail space. It was kind of underutilized area, and I bought it. We bought it using the funds from the trust to acquire it, and did the assessments, got a barbershop to go in there and operate. They pay us money, they make money. They've been down there ever since.
That's great. So you bought a space and then you found a barbershop to play.
Exactly. Find a tenant.
Yeah. So when you're looking at that, right? Are you looking at this, like let's say it's a shopping center or whatever? Are you like trying to analyze the best fit for that space?
Yeah, I'm looking around the neighborhood to see what's happening in the neighborhood. Where's the next? So when I looked at retail, it was in a black neighborhood. Okay, it's down in their Fayetteville State. So, I looked at what else was around there, what wasn't there. What could serve that area there, right? And then I said, barbershop would work good. They've been down there for a while. They've been doing really good.
And barbers raise their prices crazy.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. Just pay that lease. Bro. Just pay that lease. So you can operate whatever business you want, but. Again, and it's not like it's not like it's a lot of overhead. We got a company that takes care of the maintenance of the area, but
So for the assisted living, have you ever had to kick anybody out?
I haven't. The operators probably have.
They lease from you guys.
Again, exactly. We don't. No, in this one, my mom is a social worker. So my mom, she went to Howard University, has degrees.
And you just dubbed social workers too, bro.
Degrees and all of the stuff. She's a doctor.
You see what I'm saying? It's like she's not just like doing social work. She's taking it. She's in real estate. She's got her doctorate. So it's like, okay.
Right. So it's run, but what happens is you have a company that comes in, like property management. They do like assisted living management for this facility.
Right. I know about those.
So they kind of run that, but it makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And those are the types of, you want to get positioned as something that can run on all pod. I know what my specialty is. I don't know I can't run an assisted living facility. I can't cut hair. I don't have hair. Right. So I don't.
Why'd you choose a barbershop?
Did you have hair then?
I was hoping.
This is where I wish I could be.
Did I have hair? No, I didn't have hair. I didn't have hair.
You probably hadn't accepted it yet. You was probably still trying to
I got out of there. I got out of there quick.
When you start losing your hair?
Man, I started losing my hair probably, I started knowing it started getting kind of light around I'm 46. Mm-hmm. I started noticing it was getting kind of light around 37, 38. I said, I'm out of here.
Okay.
That makes me so upset, bro, because...
No, you're good.
No, but the thing is, I twisted my hair because, I usually don't wear a twist, right? I just have to go to the stylist, but I figured, I was done. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm mid-30, I'm 33. Like, the whole you can lose your hair thing is over. But now you telling me 37, so there's still a potential that I lose my hair.
My younger brother's like, he's like 42. He has his full head of hair. You know, my older brother still has it. I just, it started to get light, and I said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you accepted it early.
The only thing I don't joan on with people is their hair, bro. Because I'm just saying, I don't want to, I just like, that one I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm like, that one.
You got the hair. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
you got hair, you don't
I don't joan. I'm not joning because I don't want to get that.
It's like being handicapped. Like,
that's the only one I'm scared of.
Like, if you came in like a wheelchair, I wouldn't joan.
I'm not joning.
So I'm saying, like, handicapped.
You got a full head of hair, so you want to keep the karma.
I hope. I mean, my dad went bald. My brother went bald when he was like 18.
Okay, so he got out of there.
He was joning.
No, he was getting joned on, but
so you got to get out of there. Get out of there.
I always look at it like this. I don't care if I go bald because I still look good.
Okay,
so,
there you go.
I just keep it clean. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I keep I got the beard, so
and your beard connects.
My beard does connect.
Mine does not connect.
Yours is connected.
He made his connect.
Yeah, I did.
He got the you actually got to send me the stuff because I'm gonna put that on my beard.
Yeah, he said send me the stuff.
Yeah, you gotta because I had like patches and stuff.
So he done fixed it. He got the
BBL.
Hey, it's like I got the, but it's like this.
The BBL.
Like you got to do what you got to do.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? If I get bald, I shave it. If I have patches, I'm gonna fill in.
You can tap it in. Look, you know the ladies.
No, it's not. It's just I put it was. I can't remember the name of the product, but I put it on there. I did it like every day for a year, just where it was patchy,
and it grew in. Yo,
now I'm not using it no more.
There it is.
Yeah, so you feel me?
There it is. See in there.
Link below. Hit my
his sponsor
bio. You feel me?
You got the BBL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to. I'm patchy, bro. Like it's whatever. You know.
Yeah, you can fix it, man. You don't got.
I'm gonna fix it now. Now I'm gonna fix it, bro.
You don't gotta live like
that. When
I
get the shape up, it doesn't really look patchy. But then if I'm like a weekend,
these girls be sucking fat from their arms and putting it in their butts. Like you can do anything.
I think it's fair. You know, they do lashes. They do some of the other. You know,
as long as it looks good, man. If you too extreme on any like front, it's not a look, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be moderate, man. Moderate.
Yeah, the hair pieces, I haven't tapped in. It looks kind of scary. It's crazy.
They doing full sets now.
They doing Caesars. They doing high top.
But no, if I go bald, I'm getting whatever surgery. Give me my
really?
You gonna do the thing?
I'm not.
But your dad's not bald, bro.
My dad is bald. But he got the cul-de-sac. He's bald, bro. And my brother's dad. But my mom's me. Oh yeah, he got but my I think you get it from your mom's side is what they say. And my grandfather, my mom's had full head of hair. So at 85. So I think I might be straight. But yeah, no, I'm getting whatever is the technology.
You gonna go in?
As soon as it starts to go, I'm
really.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm gonna have a shape up. I'm gonna have a shape up at 90.
You're not gonna get in the water at all. Because if you get in the water, I could think that.
No. I'm gonna get the permanent
the tattoo joint.
No. Like whatever Steve Harvey did, I'm doing that.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah, Steve Harvey.
Like I'm getting like. I'm like, no, grow my hair back, bro. Like, grow, like grow it back. Like, give me the follicles, whatever you need to grow it back. Like,
Deion Sanders got it.
Like, when you like, it got thin.
Yeah, he got something.
You're like, yo, it's getting thin. That's what I'm going. Like, yo, it's getting thin. Like, grow it back. Like, let's
but don't you gotta reach like a certain level of baldness before they'll do like a surgery?
Whatever it is, bro. Whatever the requirements.
I was looking into like the height surgery, right? Like I was like, well, maybe I can get my legs broken and grow like. I was like, well, I'm 5'5". I can get to like 5'7".
You ain't look at the shoes though. The shoes with the.
I got the shoes. I'm 5'5" with the shoes.
Where you got the shoes?
I got like 6-inch inserts that I'm wearing right now.
Wow,
I wear them every day. Like,
I wanted to know if those really work because you see
like
the TV.
I'm 4'11" in real life, bro. I'm like 4'10", 4'11". So right now I'm like 5'4" with my 6-inch inserts that I put into my shoes
to break your leg.
But if I get the surgery, so I'm probably gonna do the surgery in like a couple months. Basically, what they do is they break your legs and they break your arms, and then they just separate it a millimeter a day. But they can't give you any drugs, so it's just like constant pain for the next like 6 months until you grow. But once I'm done, so I'm gonna end the pod for like 6 months. I'm gonna do the surgery. I'm gonna get my legs and my arms broken. Yeah, and then break your fingers too, like so you don't look all disproportionate. Because my legs will be long, but my arms will be short. So I'm gonna break both my arms, and then they put these what's called an X-fix. And they just stretch you out like a millimeter a day. And as the groans, it's called ossification. And then the bones grow back together and they meet each other. And then they separate it again and then ossification. And so I'm going to do that in the summer. I've been saving up for like 6 months.
So Dan is in sales because he just made all that up off the top of his head.
So somebody on the internet like,
so I hope you don't believe anything he just said.
Somebody on the internet is like, hold on, let me
he just made that whole thing up.
That's right.
Ossification is probably not a real word.
It was good.
Ossification, bro. It's a real word.
That's right.
Yeah.
The college word.
What's the next?
I'm gonna ask you one last question before we wrap up the Real Estate Wire podcast, brother. We ask all our guests this question, and I want to know what you think about it, especially in the commercial space. Okay. So, Ed, where do you see real estate and the role of real estate agents, and for you, I'm going to say commercial agents. So I'm going to add this for commercial. I'm going to say this for commercial. Where do you see commercial real estate and the role of the commercial real estate broker 20 years from today?
20. That's a long time. So 20 years from today, we will be flying to listing appointments in our flying cars. We will have inserts in our head. Instead of like going to CoStar or the MLS, we will insert the properties into our skull. And then we will be able to share whatever insight. But we only have access to it. Like you only have access to MLS. That is how we're going to share the knowledge. But no.
Neuralink.
Neuralink, something like that. No.
I was looking into that.
I think, man, the role of it's always essential to have, I think, boots on the ground, like people that are familiar with the area in any sector, commercial or residential. And I think that's where we're going to really add value. The analysis, a lot of that is AI is coming into play, really playing in well there. And whoever can leverage the AI for their benefit is going to be the people that stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, bro.
Do I get to answer the question?
No, you're not a guest, bro. You're a co-host. It's just for the guests.
But can I answer it anyway? Can I give my 2 cents on that?
No, we're done. I'm about to end it right now.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents real quick. It's an important topic. So
you see this, Marcus?
So this is the magic you were talking about, Marcus. It's that magic he was talking about. So as you asked, commercial, right? It was interesting because the commercial broker is not under attack, right? They're valuable. Everybody that sector of investors, buyers, sellers, they know that they're valuable, right? The residential broker, the residential realtor is under attack, right? And I think it's interesting because, this isn't an absolute, but commercial is a little more complex. You have to have a little more capital to do it. You have to really understand your goals. It's not just like, hey, I'm gonna buy a house because that's just part of, living life, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I'm doing something separate from just like home ownership. And I'm, it's a higher level purchase or lease. Like if someone's even leasing commercials because they're operating a business, right? Mm-hmm. So they understand the value. The residential real estate agent, people are understanding they're discounting the value because of sites like Zillow, Redfin, for sale by owners, right? They think that we're not valuable. And I always blame this on the realtors because somewhere around, whenever realtors started acting like salesmen, cutting their commissions, right? Doing like not being high professionals, not continuing to get education, etc. And it allowed tech companies to come in and disrupt, and it made the consumer feel like they don't need us all the way, right? And that's why 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business because 10% actually provide value. And I always say this, and I think it's important to say this, is that the average sales price in DC is $645,000, right? So I'm helping on average somebody. I'm brokering a deal that costs a few $100,000, right? And so like, hell yeah, I'm valuable. You know what I mean? Because like, y'all don't know the nuances of how to do that by yourself. And I think that real estate agents, not commercial brokers, but real estate agents selling traditional residential need to realize that you're in the professional level of lawyers, doctors, and commercial brokers. I'll put you guys there too, and not like commodity salespeople. And so I think in 20 years, the real estate agent is still going to be around because we've been around, right? We've been around. I think that there are going to be more high-level real estate agents that can really convey all of the things they do in the transaction, and then they'll continue to do them on a high level, adapt with the technology, and still be here. And there will just be like the $1.6 million agents will be 400,000 agents. And if that happens, that's like, okay.
Well, one thing, and I'll let it go. But I think the thing that's going to differentiate any of us with what's happening in the market is customer service. Yeah. The level of service you provide differentiates you from your competition. So if you're able to do that now, 5 years from now, you're always going to be in play.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe some things will be, like showing homes, like you have arguments showing, like some of this stuff, but like, hey, I want to buy a house. I need you to broker this deal. Like, that's going to be around. I might not have to show anybody a house, but like, they're going to still need me to write up that paperwork and like broker that situation for them.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, they got lawyers for that. Like, they could just.
And blockchain is going to.
They got blockchain that's going to.
Well, in New York it's a lawyer state, so they just send a deal sheet. I mean,
if you got an AI that can let you in the house, a lawyer that can write up the contract, I don't need a real estate.
Dan doesn't think he's going to have a job in 20 years.
No, I'm not going to need a job in 20 years.
There you go. That's
a difference.
I'm just looking down the road and I'm saying, oh, there's my exit. All right, let me put my GPS in so I can get off before the road ends. Yeah, that's just my. I mean, I wasn't going to answer, but I guess I'll answer. So, I think that 20 years from today, I agree with you with some of the stuff you said. I think one of the biggest attacks on real estate agents has been large companies first that came to disrupt. I think part of that was because of part of what you said, a large part of what you said, which is customer service. People were having a bad experience, and then large tech companies provided a better experience, right? They made it easier, they made it faster, they gave them more information. Because before, real estate agents, the only thing we really had as our collateral was we have access to all the information, right? So if you want to see the house, you got to come to the office. You got to look at this big, huge notebook, listing book. We get all the faxes every Sunday of all the properties that's coming in, and we have access to all the properties. If you want to buy a house, you got to come through us, right? And so we had a monopoly on the information. Then these large companies came and disrupted our industry, right? That was the first wave. And everybody was like, oh, information has been democratized now. Why do I need you? I need you to reduce your commission now. So then it's like, well, if it's a different, because what am I paying you 6% for? If I got all the information, all I need you to do is open the door, right? That's the perception in the mind of the buyer. So now it's like, well, and as you can see, they're suing us now, right? They're suing the National Association of Realtors. This is the next wave, because once lawsuits and stuff start happening, people start drafting up contracts differently. They start drafting up legislation differently. They start doing different, what do you call that? Code of ethics and all this stuff. All that's coming after all these lawsuits come, and real estate is going to be way, way different. The role of the real estate is going to be very different. That's going to be the second wave, that, in my opinion. The tech companies came first. Lawsuits are coming second. AI is getting ready to come and reduce, from when we used to have milkmen and we used to have travel agents. Like, you couldn't go anywhere without a travel agent. Now we got Expedia. I don't even know what a travel agent even does. Like, if you got like some big, huge trip, you're a girl boss and you want to go, maybe you use a travel agent. But for the most part, 99% of the people ain't using travel agents. We're not using milkmen. We're not using blacksmiths. We don't have a haberdasher. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a horse, so why would I need to use a blacksmith, right? So those jobs have gone by the wayside because of technology. So yeah, I do think that title companies are going to be affected, right? So commercial agents, like you said, I agree, have differentiated themselves because they have a monopoly on the information still. And there's not a lot of people coming after that information because they're in the bottom 90% who, for whatever reason, don't care, don't know, or don't believe that they can. So you guys have a smaller group of people that are trying to get your product, and there's a smaller group of people that actually know how to distribute your product. So,
but I think it's this. We got to watch the same thing, though. I think it's that relationship, though, building that relationship, and then when you get the opportunity, providing a result is what's going to hit it. It's gonna affect all of us, right? But if I'm able to give you an experience that you can't get from this computer's machine, then you're going to do business with me.
You guys don't have any big industry disruptors coming to democratize the information on commercial yet.
Well, not to the mainstream, but to the investors who we service. Yeah, you have 10X, you have CoStar, who bought LoopNet, and so they're all kind of coming together. But it just doesn't scare me, because I know that the people that I work with are going to want to do business with me. And then we're servicing a need, right? Most of these people are too busy to do the type of thing that we need to do the type of things you need to do. They don't have the time. So I'm going to provide value to you that you don't have, right? And that's what, of course, you can make the time to go on Zillow and search. But do you want to do that? Do you actually want to go through that? Well, let me give you an experience that's different, right? And then that's where you're going to make an impact.
Thanks.
Bars, bro. Appreciate you for dropping out.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. Great meeting you and chatting it up with you, man.
Where can they find you at?
Let's see. Hendo Realty, HendoRealty on Instagram and Twitter. And then LinkedIn, Ed Henderson. Just look up Ed Henderson. You'll find me on LinkedIn.
I think it's called X now.
Oh, that thing. Yeah, X. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Oh, and Threads, which is Twitter or X.
Instagram. It's Instagram.
Threads is, but it's like Twitter.
Threads is like Twitter, but Twitter's not Twitter. Twitter's X, so Threads is like X.
And then Instagram owns Threads.
Instagram owns Threads and Facebook. So Facebook owns Instagram and they own the Threads.
Just look up
Ed Henderson. You'll find me.
He's Ed Henderson.
Commercial real estate. Just look that up. You'll find
A plus B equals C. C plus C equals A. Yeah.
But thank y'all, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
For sure. Where can they find you at, Nick Bush?
Find me at Nick Bush the Realtor on Instagram, Facebook. On Instagram, you can also follow our business page, our team page, the address DMV. Go to the address DMV.com. And then on LinkedIn, I'm Nick Bush.
And I am Dan Wheeler, sells homes on all platforms, anywhere you want to find me. Thank you guys so much. Also follow Coach Marcus. He's not here today, but he's here in spirit. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this content with anybody that you think might think is dope. If you're on iTunes, leave a 5-star review. Helps us with the Apple people. And if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share to anybody that you think might think is dope. I'm Dan Wheeler, sells homes. Thank you so much for all of us here at the Real Estate Wire podcast. We are out.
Yo, I forget to plug my podcast. I forgot to plug out. I was trying to plug the pod.
See ya.
It's all good. They know where to find me.